Mm-hmm.
It's very professional.
Yes.
So welcome everybody, both online and actually present. My name is Vajradaka and I'm going to be leading the class. And I'm just going to say a few words first. Very generally, at this class, people who are leading the class will guide you into a formal meditation practice. And there's usually two meditations that are taught. One is called the Mindfulness of Breathing, which is based on the breath and the body. And the other one is called the Metta Bhavana, which is the development of loving kindness. But I'm going to do it a bit different. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be guiding you into the skills of mindfulness on the body and the breath. You know, the sort of, as it were, the background skills that go to make doing the actual 4 stages work better. So you can learn the 4 stages next week or in the coming weeks, and just apply what we've been doing here to those stages. So I just make sure I get my list of timings right here, so I don't. Okay. So I'm going to just introduce what I would consider to be primary principles of mindfulness. And we're going to then explore those primary principles in the actual meditation. So a primary principle is, you know, in your mind, you have a sort of basic comprehension of what it is that you're going to be paying attention to. So I like to call this the area of engagement. So with people online, you now make a decision that you're not going to multitask. The people here in the centre, they don't have much choice. If they bring out their phones, it'll be really obvious. Well, no one here has got any laptops or other screens on. So for those of you who are online, just turn off YouTube or anything like that, and just have this attitude that you're just going to be wholeheartedly engaged with what we're doing. And so turn everything off. And then, for everybody, both online and present, there is another level of that, which is, you might decide, oh, I've got to work out that project, or I've got to think about that, and sitting quietly while he burbles on is just a perfect opportunity for that. So part of that is not multitasking is internal. So you decide, no, I'm going to do that later. And I'm just going to pay attention to what we're doing. So already you're starting to clear the mind. And this is really such a great skill, actually. And it's transferable to many, many situations. So you start to get the sense, okay, so I'm going to let go of that, I'm going to let go of that, and I'm just going to be here, engaged, present, feeling how I feel at the moment, and paying attention and following what's going on in the session. So that's already a part of this first thing, which is intentionality, that you're clearing a space and you're beginning to focus. And then I think it's very useful to think about, before you do anything which you want to do mindfully, you take a little bit of time to just be clear about your intentionality. And this takes a bit of practice, actually. Whether it's you're going to do some cooking, you're going to enter into a conversation, or do a bit of work, you take a bit of time and you go, actually, what I'm going to be doing here is this. This is what I'm going to be aware of. And you just let that comprehension just sink in to your mind, that this is it, this is what it's all about. And in this context of the meditation, the first layer of intention is the body and the breath. So you just let it sink in that you're going to stay with the experience of the breath and the experience of the body and how the breath moves the body and how it feels in the body when the breath comes in and goes out. But this awareness here is a kind of double-edged word, because it can seem like you're observing, but that isn't what's meant. The intention is to come into experience. So when I say come into the breath or be aware of the breath, it's like feeling it. How does the breath feel? What's happening? That's really the aim. So you're already starting to set up this layer of intention. That what we're going to do once we start is come into the experience of the breath and how it moves the body and how it feels. And then that's the first layer. So you just let that sink in. And then the second layer of intention is that you're going to keep your attention on the experience. You're going to stay with it and follow it. Your breath might change, you stay with it. So you start it, you're just letting this sink in. And whatever happens with the breath, I'm going to stay with it. If it starts to go faster or slower or settle, I'm going to stay with it. So you let this layer of intentionality just sort of sink in. Right? So then, there's a third layer. Now, just to make it simple, it might not sound simple, but I'm just going to, it's 3 C's. Check, has my mind wandered? If my mind has wandered, clear it, and then connect or come back. So, check, clear, come back. And that is an intention, a clear train of understanding. So now you've got these layers that go together to make your area of engagement. And I think that there's a fourth layer I'd like to add, which is patience. This is, by its very nature, quite challenging. The mind wants to keep wandering off, it wants to plan, it wants to do things. So if you're doing the checking, clearing and coming back, you might find yourself doing it quite a bit. So patience and kindness to yourself is really important. But it's a feeling. It's like, it's fine, just keep going, it's fine. Rather than beating yourself. So you watch out for the beating and go, let go of that. It's fine, just keep going. It's a good thing to do. Just keep going in a nice gentle tone of thought. It's fine, just keep going. Okay, so we've got 4 layers there. So I'm just going to say them quickly so that you remember. So that you're going to be coming into the experience of the body and the breath. 3 C's. Oh no, I missed one. What did I miss? Staying with. Very good. So you're going to stay with the body and the breath. 3 C's, check, clear and come back. And then patience in the process. Okay, so if you'd like to make sure that you're sitting comfortably. So just bringing to mind your area of engagement with those layers, just in your own way, just settling, let it settle in to your mind, that this is what you're going to be doing. And then you just drop into your mind a little directive quietly. Arrive. Arrive into the experience of myself sitting here. Coming into the experience of your back, just check that it feels poised and relaxed and comfortable. Being aware of the back and how it feels right from the base of your seat, up your back, shoulders and neck, and just checking for any holding or tension and adjusting it, loosening it if you need to. Now, as well as the awareness of the back, starting to let the awareness of the rhythm of the breath come into awareness. So you have the rhythm of the breath and the back together. And as you become aware of the rhythm of the breath, notice how your back moves as the breath comes in and you rise, and how it moves as the breath goes out, and start to become absorbed in this experience. Now bringing awareness forward into the whole chest, belly area and the breath. Feeling the rhythm and flow of the breath and what happens in the chest and the belly area. Adjusting your attentiveness. Are you a bit distant? Is the focus a bit blurred? You might need to focus in a little more to the experience of the breath and the chest and the belly. You can do that by just dropping in the thought, closer. Come closer. So now we're going to narrow the focus a little bit into the belly and the breath, and feel what happens in the belly when the breath comes in and goes out. So you're staying with and following the experience as it changes in and out. And part of staying with is you notice if your attention very gently starts to drift, you just gently nudge it back into the experience of the breath. Settling into the experience of the breath in the belly. Feeling the movement in the belly. Feeling the stretch and the contraction, and staying with it. Just gentle checking, is the mind starting to drift or gone off? Clear that and come back. Gently nudging yourself, sliding yourself back into the experience of the breath and the belly. And just get used to the feeling of patience with this process. So you're aiming into the experience of the breath in the belly, and you're also experiencing it together. Just checking your mind hasn't gone into automatic. And what else is here? So you're aiming to and experiencing the belly and the breath. And letting go of any thoughts about the experience. Just simple words that nudge you back or keep you with the experience, like stay with this. Put quietly and gently. Now we're going to have a little redirection of attention up into the whole heart, chest area and the breath. So drop that intention in, the breath in the heart, chest area, the lungs. Staying with it and being patient in the process. Checking, clearing and coming back as you need to. And just checking, is there any holding or tension anywhere in your shoulders or face, and just letting it go, coming back to the lungs, chest area and the breath. Clear direction, clear area of engagement. Now, new direction, the breath in the nostrils. Clear, directed, experiencing it and staying with it. So you have the aiming towards the experience, and then the openness to the experience itself. Do you feel distant? If so, just drop in the word closer. Coming in closer. And being open to the experience. Checking, clearing and coming back when you need to, or nudging yourself back with patience. So you're attentive and relaxed. Just check if there's any tension or holding arisen in your shoulders, just softening it and coming back clearly to the breath in the nostrils. And there's a kind of gentleness around the process. There's commitment to it, but there's also a patience and a kindness. Noticing when you drift away, nudge back gently. With a sort of benign feeling of patience in the process. And now broadening the whole range of awareness back to the breath generally in the body and how it feels. You see, wide angle awareness, you could say panoramic awareness of the whole breath, its rhythm and feeling. If there's any tension, just letting go of it, coming back to the breath. And then broadening to the whole sense of your body. And just taking in how you are, if you feel settled or calm or otherwise, just taking it in awareness. And when you're ready, just gently opening your eyes and with a sort of wide angle view, just take in the room. And the sense of yourself sitting in the room and how you are. And just noticing what's in front of you, noticing if your vision focuses in on something, and then just broaden it again. So you just take in more and more of the room, how it looks, light and shadow, colours, shapes, and yourself in the room. And when you're ready, just sitting comfortably. And just resting. So in a way that the new area of engagement is just to rest and absorb how you are, just to be present in the room, how you are. And notice again, check, is your mind wandering off to anything? Clear it, come back gently with patience. So now you're in what you could call just general mindfulness. You're aware of yourself, how you are, and your environment and the situation. And you're staying with it. This is your clear area of engagement. You stay with it. And you just notice when your mind starts to drift, nudge. I like that word, nudge. Just nudge and slide it back to here and what's happening. And just taking in more and more of how it feels to be sitting here. And if you notice you're starting to think a lot, just let go of that and come back into the more, you could call visceral experience or physical experience, and your general mood or your general tone, feeling tone. So I'm just going to say a few words about practice. The sort of primary components of mindfulness in any context, but which become highlighted in meditation, is you have a clear area of engagement, and you come into it and stay with it. And part of the process here is you're aiming into something. And you're finding just the right level of energy to pay attention. And I'm going to use an example here of communication, because I think it illustrates it quite well. You can be with a friend and you can aim to be open and aware of your friend, how they are, their body language, their facial expressions, just generally how they look to you and how you take them in. That can be your aim. But then you notice that you might get rather intense in looking. Some people are more intense than others. But you can then realise that you're not really taking in. Your looking overrides the seeing. Somehow you're looking so hard you don't actually take in how they are. So you need to, as it were, soften the looking, the way that you're looking at them, so that you've got them clearly in your awareness, but you're actually taking it all in. You're sort of relaxed in your attentiveness. And in this process, you notice as you're talking, their expressions change, their body language changes, you pick up changes in mood, and you stay with that. And you're always adjusting the level of your attentiveness. So if you notice that you're starting to fall back a bit and drift back and disconnect, you just notice that. And of course that can be very minor disconnection, or it can be completely disconnected. You might just be away. And so then part of that is noticing that, come back into what they're saying or how they are. So you're always adjusting your attentiveness so that you feel engaged and alive to what's happening, taking it in and applied. And it's these two things, the application and the taking in, that are primary components of mindfulness. It's not just awareness. It's not just, and it's not just paying attention. It's taking it all in. The whole thing of attentiveness and what's happening. And I think that it's the best approach to this is playfulness, actually. You just play with it. Play with your attention. What's it like if I ratchet it up? I push down the accelerator, I'm a bit more intense. I get yeah, quite. They do that, and you get a headache. Just play with it. It's a very, very interesting area, to explore. And just to ask yourself that question: am I really taking them in, or have I just got a commentary? Now they're doing this. Now they're that. Now they're this, and you need to, and that in itself can stop you being aware. So you need to sort of, in a way, notice that the commentary is not awareness of them, it's just commentary. And in that way, you come into the communication, what you have to offer in the communication, and how they are and what they have to offer, and their sense of energy and being, and how they are in the communication. And there's a sort of coming together of yourself and them in the communication. Well, that coming together in this example of communication is a transferable skill. But we exercise it on the breath. It's the same thing in a way. The breath is there and we're aiming to the breath, and we need to find the way in which our aiming to and experience of the breath come together. So for just a couple of minutes we're going to do that again. You can sit informally, you don't have to set yourself up in any particular way, but just you're going to aim to be aware of your breath in the nostrils and your face. And you're going to feel it. And you're just going to play with that dynamic, aiming towards the face and the breath in the nostrils and feeling it for just a couple of minutes. Aiming to be aware of the face and the breath in the nostrils, and coming into the experience and bringing them together and playing with it. And any holding or tension in the face, just softening it, loosening it and letting it go. Feeling what it's like to be soft and relaxed. Just playing with this, you go to the face and the nostrils and the breath, and you let it come to you. Finding the way of being aware where it all comes together, attentiveness and experience. as it were, coming back into the room. Sitting comfortably. Now for a short while, we're going to separate from the online to the people in the room. So I'm going to hand over to Catherine online, and we'll all meet back up together at 11:35 online and here. But for the moment, here in this room, I've just got, how was it? How did